Welcome back, everyone, to Blast the Process, marathon dedicated solely to Sega games. Right now, we have Elrock doing Captain America and the Avengers.
All right, thank you so much, Adrian.
Good luck.
Thank you. Hope everyone's having an awesome day so far. My name is Elrock617. Going to be showcasing a game I learned a little bit less than a year ago for a speedrun holiday called Dad at Easter, called Captain America and the Avengers. It's an arcade game that got later ported to 16-bit consoles, and while I grew up with different versions of this game, aside from the Genesis version, this is the one I actually prefer these days. I actually think it's the much more balanced version, and it's also a lot more fun because your characters have a lot more capability. Got some controls switched up just for personal preference. I prefer to have only one attack button as opposed to two like you do by default. We're going to be running this on the hardest difficulty, and I've only raised the live cap a little bit just because, you never know what's going to happen. It's one life per continue in this game, so I don't read these as continues. To me, it's just extra lives. So we'll go ahead and move right to our game start here in just a moment. Thanks for the good luck. Oh, someone said so in chat, so I was acknowledging that. All right. Fair enough. All right, we'll do a slow count here for 3, 2, 1, go. And, of course, it missed it. It's turned into a cutscene. I don't know if you can start me over or not. As soon as I said 1, it did the fade out into a cutscene. Major apologies there. Is it possible we can restart that?
I'm not the one manning it. So.
Figures. Oh, so someone heard me. Okay. Major apologies for that. Didn't anticipate. All right, we'll do a different count this time. So 3, 2, 1, go. All right, there we go.
Now good luck.
Going to be playing as everybody's favorite red, white, and blue, Captain America. Now, I know it seems cliche to play a character that the game is named after, but there's actually a significant number of reasons why I'll be playing Cap, and I'll go into those as the run goes on. Got people fleeing in terror here. I'll be willing to show some of the dialogue in this game just because it's probably the best thing about the game. So much meme quality with this dialogue. First thing you notice we have going on here with Cap is this slide move. Using it quite a bit to take care of some early enemies. Man, that guy does not want to cooperate at all. Okay, so for the slide move, has a really wide hitbox, takes care of most enemies in your way. The other reason is the shield toss. That's the biggest reason we use Cap. It hits twice. Other characters only have blasters that do like 1 or 2. Of course, that's why it should go well, whatever that means. Missed the cycle there, it's unfortunate. You want to be really, really early with that shield toss there to make sure you can loop both of them in, but we should be fine. We got some iframes here, we'll use them. Good stuff there. Take us on here into our next room for some more enemies. I'll be able to showcase the shield toss a little bit better later. That should have been an ideal fight to do it, but I was a little late on the input. If you input it early enough, you can actually catch them in a cycle where you can just loop them with the shield throw. They just can't get up from it. But the window for it is extremely tiny. Only got maybe a fraction of a second with which to do it. Whirlwind runs away from us again. I got decided to go down. Best of luck today so far. This guy's a little annoying. He, in most segments, he can actually get a lot of invincibility and just kind of ignores your shield. He still gets hit, but he just armors through it. Great bit of dialogue here. Makes all the sense. So for Whirlwind, we're going to have shield throw set up here. Every shield throw is going to be a knockdown as long as we time it correctly. The reason timing is crucial here is because even though you can't see them, enemies in this game do have a lot of iframes. The kicker with it being that they have iframes that you can't see, which makes it even more annoying. Normally in a standard beat 'em up, if an enemy has iframes when they get up, they'll like start blinking or something. In this game, they don't even do that, so you just kind of have to know it's going to happen. That was unfortunate. Got lasered there. Wow. Okay. Pretty bad luck with those hitboxes there. Okay. Took care of that swath of enemies here. So take us into one of our very few shmup sections of this game. Keep saying that, like sections. These are actually some of the best parts of the game. It really takes it out of the element of being a beat 'em up, but I don't know. The music combined with the gameplay just makes for a very rewarding experience, I think. it's not super challenging, but it's just so much fun to just sit back and chillax with stuff like this. This is another reason why we have Cap as our optimal character. His shield, much like on the ground, hits twice, so you can, any button here throws the shield from your jet ski here. So we can just, you can't see it, but I've got my fingers across the 3 Genesis controller buttons here, and I'm just alternate matching them like so. And they hit on send and return. So we're getting as many as 4 hitboxes on the screen at a time. Any other character would only be able to get 1 per loop, so you'd only be getting maybe 2 max, and generally not even that because they come out 1 at a time. So a level like this will make Cap an optimal character. Most of the enemies in these sections aren't too difficult. Just lots of dudes that just pop out of the screen and die just as quickly. They don't have a lot of health. Get this little rotation of guys here. But this is just a simple level to sit back and enjoy. This music is just so great. So, interesting thing to note here we have a power-up in the form of the Avenger known as Wasp. We're actually not going to collect it because collecting her spawns a cutscene that triggers before this plane would spawn. You see, if we skip it there, the plane spawns immediately. If we had gotten the power-up, it would have had a cutscene that occurred prior to the plane even coming on screen. She actually doesn't, while she is an extra power-up, she doesn't actually help that much. It's useful to have another hitbox on the screen. She basically works like a star would in Mario. She's just an invincibility item. But she doesn't do enough extra damage to justify the cutscene that triggers when you get her. So we're just saving time by not getting her. We'll be seeing another one of those on a later level, but we'll be doing the same thing. It doesn't change. Let's take out these guys here. More shield loops. Until we get to our next boss, this is pretty much all you're going to see. And another thing I'll comment on with this game is essentially one gigantic boss rush. Every sequence just leads to another boss. You're fighting as many as, I think the final stage has something like 4 bosses. So lots of different bosses in this game, each with their own strat. Some have similar strats, but we can get into why those differ here in a little bit. Our boss here, for some reason we have an X-Men villain in an Avengers game. We've got a giant sentinel threatening to murder everybody, as opposed to just beating kind. We're going to skip through that. More shield loops here. We hang out here because it's a complete safe spot. He's got 2 different attacks. He can fire a bevy of lasers, and then he's going to shoot a hand at us that's going to try and catch us for a grab. All we have to do is move down to avoid that. And I'll take him down in short order. That was actually a perfect sentinel fight, so that was good. A little bit of lag there on the dissolve. Move us to the ground floor. Works back to Beat 'em Up City. Shout out to the Data East logo. Slide into those guys. Man, I've actually never seen that guy just kind of stonewall me like that. That was interesting. More enemies here. This is also, I think, the first time we're going to see the heavy use of dive attacks. That was unfortunate. Still funny though, because dialogue. This dive attack is actually pretty svelte. It's very quick to come out, so it gets a lot of efficiency. Has a ton of priority over enemies. It's really, really good. Yeah, I didn't want that to happen. Lasers in this game are just very, very degenerate. You don't ever want to see them. They happen often, but essentially once they're on screen, they can hit you no matter where you are. Like if I'm on 2 planes above and one would hit me in the foot, it's going to hit me. That's how much priority those things have. Take out this guy here. My goal here is to make sure they don't hop at me, because once they're in air, their foot has a ton of priority over things I can do. So take us on to our level 2 boss. Gentleman known as the Grim Reaper is going to have a big spinning blade. There's a 2-cycle quick kill we can do on him, so let's see if I can get it. Good setup for it, but I didn't complete the amount of damage I needed. Biggest attack I want to avoid with him is his fireballs. They track you across the entire screen. That wasn't supposed to happen. Yep, there's that fireball like I was talking about. Some execution errors there. Okay. Took him out on the rebound. Not the fight we wanted, but that could have been worse. The best quick kill you can get on him is when you get him in the corner, you turn around and you dive on him. When you do a dive attack, every frame of the dive attack does damage to him. So that ends up to a lot of damage. On the perfect one cycle, you're doing like 60%, taking away 60% of his health on the one loop. But it didn't work out that time. For the second cycle, you're able to finish him off, but he also is one of those random iframes type characters. What's weird about him though is if you can get him down to 0 health, he can still even have iframes then. Like sometimes you just can't hit him if he's at 0. You'd almost think it would soft lock. It doesn't, but it becomes incredibly hard to hit him nonetheless. Just let that guy dissolve. I was going to try and take him out, but he was too fast for me. So take us to the Wizard, who I used to think was one of the harder bosses in the game, but there's actually a solid setup available for him that we're going to do now. Got him down in the corner, which is perfect. Again, we're waiting out his iframes to make sure we can throw a shield and hit him twice. Good loops there. Perfect Wizard fight. Very good. So take us to another shmup section. This time underwater with Cap with the most adorable looking jetpack you've ever seen. And it's a jetpack that works underwater, so why wouldn't people want one of these? Pretty easy stuff here. We've only got a few different subsets of enemies. The ones that tend to prioritize are the guys on the bottom floor. Any of the guys in suits can shoot harpoons. The ones who are swimming only shoot them straight, but the guys on the floor can shoot them in spread formation, so they're the biggest threat. They can hit us in the biggest variety of ways compared to others. We'll go ahead and take those out. So move us down into the hole here. Just a slight auto scroll section here before we fight some more enemies. This music's also great. Love those drum samples. The little snake guys really aren't that big of a deal either. I think they're supposed to be eels. I don't remember, but they're pretty easy to deal with, especially with Cap, who's doing 2 hits per rotation of the shield. On to our next boss, which is this. I don't know who that is in the octopus, but he's trying to make seaweed out of us, so we gotta stop him. My goal here is always just aim for the windshield. Also, avoid the arms at all costs. That grab is that he can do is the most devastating attack that he has. The lasers really aren't that huge of a deal. They're pretty easy to dodge. They're completely telegraphed. So 3 cycle later and we're done. I always tend to try to spawn near the bottom here so we can get in the tube that much quicker. This first room, once we get down, is pretty rough. We've got like 4 guys with lasers. The upside being that they all have really low health, but they got the jump on us there because I missed a small input window there. Input windows in this game can be pretty gross at times. Gonna break open a wall, which only takes 1 dive attack. Small subsection of enemies here. Just stay here, beat them up. They come out of doors. They threaten your life. Whatever. Get over there. Try and keep them localized over on that side. Hey, we got a guy incoming. That's nice. That was unfortunate. That happens though. I'm just gonna toss this guy over there. The throw is actually another move I'll be utilizing a lot. It's a 1-hit kill on any enemy you can do it on. For our 3rd stage boss, Mandarin, with an amazing start of fight quote. We have a dive kick loop we're going to do on him. Let's see if I can execute this correctly. Done correctly, it's perfect stun lock. He can't get out of it. Oops, missed a hit there. Good fight though, nonetheless. Red Skull laughs at us. Should probably at least talk about the plot. Red Skull is on the plot for world domination once again. It's up to the Avengers to stop him. I think his plot this time is he has this giant laser cannon that he's developing in space. I don't know if he's going to use it to enslave or to destroy. Hard to say, really. Either way, these last 2 levels are going to have to go see what we can do to stop him. Also, best live total. Shoutouts. This is going to be the last level we have that doesn't have a shmup section. It's entirely a beat 'em up with a couple of really solid difficulty bosses. First room of guys. These guys are actually a problem. They look similar to the red and yellow guys we fought before, but they have a lot more health, and you also essentially can't touch them unless what you're touching them with kills them. Like, yeah, shield is really good, of course, because it hits them twice, but anything else you touch them with that makes contact, they can grab you out of it. So you have to be really, really wary of that. Gonna throw this guy. Since, like I said, it kills him, we're just trying to throw this guy. There we go. Throw this guy just cuz. Take it out the trash. I thought that was gonna... There we go. figured I was going to hit him twice, but I guess I didn't need to. This room's a little sketchy. These guys do a lot of dives. We're trying to do our best to make sure we stay out of the way of that. Okay, he got looped into that. That's nice. Get rid of this laser guy because we don't want to deal with him. Alright, this will bring us to our first boss. Again, another X-Men villain in the Avengers. Why Juggernaut's in this game, I don't know. But he's another dive kick loop boss. Let's hope we can maintain it. This one's a little tricky. The execution is you have to turn around when you're falling down to hit him. There's a small window where you actually don't have to turn around, but it's so much easier if you just hold the other direction when you're going. Do it again. Ah, I didn't turn around. Execution error on my part. No big deal, though. It's a tough fight if he gets out of that, though, just because Juggernaut is just so fast. He moves across the screen incredibly quickly. Get behind these guys. I catch this guy as he comes out the door, too, if I can. Sometimes they move out of your grab range. That's really annoying. Take care of that guy real quick. Slide to those guys. The shield guys you actually can't throw projectiles on, so they limit your attacks. I tend to go with only physical stuff against them. Slide tends to work the best. You can also grab them, but it's wonky to do so. That was unfortunate. Like I said, that hop kick, man. Lots of priority. Appreciate all the good words. So take us on to Ultron. Another great bit of dialogue here. Like the police would know. So for Ultron, it's another dive kick loop boss, but the loop is really tricky because you can only hit him once. The other downside of it is he can actually get out of the loop if your timing is off, as you just saw there. My visual cue for it is as soon as you start hunching over, then you jump and you immediately dive and you'll go over it. Before this would hit him, he has iframes the entire time, because again, iframes you can't see. If you come in too late, he can anti-air you with a punch. And you don't want that either. See if we can maintain this the rest of the time. Nice. I actually thought I was a little early on that one, but that worked out. Nothing else is really as effective as this, sadly. He's one of those bosses that just goes down on the first hit of anything you touch him with. Pretty good stage there, actually. Juggernaut fight was a little wonky, but the enemy sections were good. So take us on to our final stage, which actually starts off with a shmup level. Here we have Avengers in space. More standard stuff. There's nothing really new to get into here. I'm going to be killing as many enemies as I can, though, just to try to get some health trinkets. Dying won't be the worst thing. In fact, I'm anticipating dying at least once in this last stage, because you know everything comes out here to hit us. So hopefully we get the best we can out of it. Throw the shield, throw the shield. This music is also the jam too, man. Just those drum samples. Data East was feeling it with his port. Try to stay below here so I can dodge the lasers. You can see it's coming out directly from the back of the plane. Want to avoid that at all costs. Alright, there we go. They tend to go down pretty quick just because of the volley of hitboxes that you're throwing at them. How Cap has 15 shields on the screen at a time we'll never know, but hey. It's a video game, it's fun. Really do wish there was more to talk about here. I can at least talk about my history of the game. I definitely remember playing the arcade version of this game back in the very early 90s. And then, of course, playing it once it got ported to home console. The Super NES version, I was actually really disappointed with. I thought the soundtrack was awesome, but the gameplay, like, man, it was just so unfair. It was like they programmed enemies to just be even more unfair than they already could have been in an arcade beat-em-up. They all had more invincibility than they should have. Tons of priority. But then I hadn't played this version until I became an adult, and I actually started, as I mentioned at the start of the run, I actually like this version quite a bit better now. The soundtracks are both really good for entirely different reasons. But this one I feel the gameplay is just better. Like, look at you just throwing out all these shields here. How can you not like a game that lets you do this? I think this is actually going to bring us into our next sequence. Yes, here we go, the moon. So here comes the laser cannon. What I try to do here is I want to make sure I can line up with the receptacle of the satellite dish. because if you don't, it just lines you up with it regardless, so it just saves time. We'll get it right about here. Got a couple enemies down here I'm going to take care of. They just spawn right at the bottom of the screen, so they won't be a huge issue. This will bring us down here. Our goal is we have to destroy the laser cannon, but one dive attack takes care of that. Plus we have enemies attacking us, so we'll deal with them in short order. I actually thought that guy was going to hit me. Oh, as much as I can. Man, that guy still got me. Man, that's amazing. Going through the wall. Gonna have just more sections of enemies here. All with different offensive capabilities. Man, I just could not throw a shield there to save my life. There we go. Unfortunate. One more hit this guy. Fine, I'll throw him. Little green slide thing here. So take us to our last section, which is going to be quite a bevy of bosses here. I actually don't know the name of this boss here. This here is Crossbones, but we're not fighting him yet. He just comes in to declare how screwed we are. These guys come in. These guys you can actually kind of fight two as one. If you can catch them in this loop where they both jump at you, then you're good. The real big danger with this fight is these saw blades. The enemies themselves aren't even that big of a deal. And then of course that happens and I prove myself wrong. Whoops. Pressing start too early there does cause it to jump, so that's my bad. Cause it to pause, not jump. I'm the one that jumped. Alright, so we can get this loop back here. Ooh, almost got caught by the vertical one. Nice. Good double finish. And for this here, this in my opinion is the hardest room in the game. Just lots of enemies that cause a lot of problems. Cat, please turn around. You'd be amazed at how often that happens to me. Just getting turned around with a shield. Yeah, these guys are gross. All they want to do is hug you, and they have tons of priority to do so. Alright, I need to space this out a bit. Yeah, I figured that would happen. Yeah, it's just a hug-a-thon right now. I didn't think I would not be able to get rid of some by now. To mention, that room's rough. So here we have Crossbones. Maybe the hardest boss in the game. Lots of RNG. Hopefully we get good RNG. So he got away from us, that's good. That little roll move he has, he can do in either direction. If he comes to our side, that's not good. Mill's screen like here is fine. It's when he actually starts moving to the left and he just actually hits us that causes a problem. This is also the only fight in the game where I make extensive use of the block mechanic, which you can actually do by holding the attack button. A lot of people didn't know that. It's fine here. So there's shield loop. If I can have some good luck here. Timing of the shield throw is kind of tricky too. You have to wait, and you're usually supposed to do it right as he's timing the knife twirl. Then you can hit him. Still had a good fight there. He didn't come all the way to the left and try to throw in shenanigans or anything. One last cutscene with the final boss. Move on to the very final section of enemies before we get to the end game. Laser dudes, of course, causing trouble. Yeah, that range grab is annoying. I actually thought I was getting out of the way of that. That was supposed to be a shield, but I guess I just got ignored. Having all kinds of inputs here. The other thing I love about the grab, you can throw people into people, and it actually does damage. It's nice. That was immediate. I couldn't respond to that at all. Best advice I can give for these dive kit guys, make sure you get out of the way before they can jump out of it. Alright, so first final boss, we have Red Skull. There's a loop we can get him in, but it's actually really tricky to get, because if he gets out of it, we just have problems. So hopefully we can maintain it here. Yep, he got out of it, because he had way longer iframes than he should have. Try again. If you can catch him with 2 hits, you're good. Okay, there we go. One minor gaff, but aside from that, he's going to turn into Mech Skull. Going to drag him up here. Start dive looping. Again, more hits all the way down, just like with the Grim Reaper fight. I tend to expect to get hit there. Without perfect loops, it tends to get pretty bad, but it's still fine. Alright, took care of him. That'll end the game. Time is not until the final cutscene ends, which is going to be on OK Go, so I'll call it. It's going to be at... time. Looks like a 22:55 on my clock, so not too bad. It's actually a decent run. Actually, I was timing on my old stuff, so I actually gold split stage 4, so that was kind of neat. Let's call this game the bevy of boss fights. There's something like, actually counting them now, something like 13 boss fights in this game. It's actually kind of gross. 12 or 13 or so. Thank you so much for the GGs, everybody. So yeah, this was a game I almost didn't submit to the event because I thought the previous world record holder was going to. He has another run in the marathon, so I just gave it all on to him, and he just decided not to. So in the lead up to this of my derusting, I picked up some new strats from both watching his run as well as just adapting myself to the game as I could, and managed to save a pretty good amount of time. I saved over 2 minutes on my original, and I think our world record is like a 25-second improvement from this past week. So it's been a really fun journey with this game for the past couple weeks or so. And on the game itself, it's just a hilarious romp. There's so much good dialogue that makes no sense whatsoever. Great gameplay. Once you have your moves set down, your execution's good, which mine wasn't 100% today, but hopefully another day. But I still had a great time showcasing it here for Blast the Process, and I'm really glad you guys had me here for the event.
Yes, thank you so much for contributing to this marathon, for showing off your run. Really glad that you decided to submit it.
Oh, absolutely, and thank you so much as well, Adrian. Whenever you're ready, just go ahead and give me the go-ahead, and we'll move on to some Gunstar Heroes. That race is going to be awesome, by the way. You all should definitely have a peek at it.
Indeed. So, like he was saying, next to start off the treasure block, I think a block that